Well, how's it going, guys? I think just doing a quick sound check. Yep, that's all good to go. Can hear myself. Cool. So we are, I know I kind of worked on this on last week, but to be honest, I've just been a bit busy with a few other things, so I never really got to finish this paper. So we're going to try and finish this paper off, at least some parts of it today. Um, yeah, well, as usual, we'll just wait for like maybe a minute or two. If you guys want me to go through particular questions from this paper, there are certain questions that I've already done. Um, so just have a look at the paper. I'll put the link on the chat for you guys to have a look at the paper. And if there's any particular questions you guys want me to go through, I'm happy to go through those particular questions. Otherwise, what we'll be doing is kind of just going back and having a look at what are all the questions we haven't done in this paper, and then we'll do them. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Um, yeah, so give us another minute. Where's people joining us today? Where are you guys coming from? Had an interesting day at school. Pretty much sorted in terms of getting my kids back tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to that. Finally seeing my kids in actually face to face. Must be fun. Should be fun. Always love every time, every single time I'm sitting there going, it's like, man, I gotta put a map and ask you guys to chuck on the map where you guys are coming from. One day I'll get to it. All right, guys. So if there's any other questions, like if you have a particular question, you can put it up right now. Otherwise, what I'm gonna do is, as you can see, I've already done 1A, so this would have been in last week's tutorial. Otherwise, we go through this question here. Nice, nice. Hey, Zaki, how you going, mate? Nice. No request for question, guys. So that means we're going to get on with question 1B here. So with always these types of things, hopefully you guys, Jonty, yeah, let me just see. Do we have one more calculus session at all? I was supposed to prep for that, but it's going to take me some time to prep. I can't just do it straight away. How many more sessions do we have? Today is 17th November. Okay, so just I think on Monday, next week, Monday, we'll try and do the graph one. I'll actually put it up there so that I remember myself. Rather than doing a help desk, I'll do a session on calculus graphs. There we go. So Jonty, I'll put a reminder for myself on Monday so that I will remember how to, like, I'll have to set it up. It takes me about a few minutes to, yeah, bit of time to actually set it up. Where on the website can I see these websites? We're doing the 2013 paper, Brady. I will chuck it up. That's the paper that we're doing. Um, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give you guys maybe like another couple of, not even a couple of minutes, like how long? This is an achieved question. Yeah, it's just an achieved question, so I'm going to give you guys maybe another minute, and then I'll go through the answer with you guys. That's the other thing I'm supposed to do. By the way, yeah, I got a new tablet at the moment, so it's been pretty smooth sailing so far, but still that little crash happens every now and then. I don't know why, but anyway, we're gonna get started with this question 1B, guys. I'm gonna record, so I might be kind of yapping away to myself, but I'll come back to the chat after I finish the question. Cool. So what we have got here is with question 1B, we've been given g dash of x, and we've been given a point that it goes through 1, 4, and we're asked to find g of x. So all we're doing is we're going to be integrating it, integrating the equation. And I know that sometimes people use anti-differentiation. It's pretty much the same kind of concept here. So what I've got is I've got 6x squared. I'm going to add plus 1 to the power, divide by the new power, which is 2 plus 1. And I've got minus 5. And of course, now this is going to be x plus c. So what I've got here is 6x cubed over 3 minus 5x plus c. This could be written as 2x cubed minus 5x plus c. Now they've actually given us the point 1, 4. So what that means is that g of 1 is equal to 4. So we're going to put 4 is equal to 2 times 1 cubed minus 5 times 1 plus c. So we got 4 equals to 2 times 1 cubed is just 2 minus 5 plus c. We've got 4 is equal to negative 3 plus c. And then c is equal to 4 plus 7. Sorry, plus 3, not 7. So c is equal to 7. And so what you're going to have to do is write down g of x is equal to 2x cubed minus 5x plus 7. Now, this question here is only worth an achieved. And by the looks of it, you've got to actually do two things. You've got to find the antiderivative. So you got to integrate the function. And you've got to actually get the c value of 7 as well to get an achieved. Cool. Any questions with that, this particular question, guys? If not, we can move on to the next one. Just a bit of a tip for you guys as you're looking. The part people tend to forget is dividing it by the new power. So just keep that in mind when you're actually integrating or anti-differentiating, as they call it. But if you're happy with that, just yell out move on, and then we can just move on to the next question. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question, guys. Yep. Thank you, Hayden. Cool. So what we've got here is a merit question. Again, I'm going to give you guys about, what is it? Yeah, I'm going to let you guys have a read through it, and I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes to do it. So yeah, have a go. And then remember that even if you don't know how to start this question, you are doing calculus at level 2, which means, and you're looking at this function, right? And there's like 90% of the time, I would say, if you've been given a function in calculus, and especially like this, actually 100% of the time, you got to differentiate, all right? Especially when you don't have like a h dash of t. When you just have h of something, you're most likely going to differentiate and do something with it. So even if you don't know how to answer or start the question, differentiating something could potentially get an achieved for you. So with that, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let you guys work through it. And I'll go through the answer at 8:10, around 8:10. Yep, cool guys. Just feel free to throw up the answers there. And even if you get an incorrect answer, just go back to your working and have a look at, why you're getting a different answer to that other person. And that process also helps you with the learning as well. All right. And even if you don't put your incorrect answer, go back and have a look at your working and go, where did I make that mistake? So I'll give you guys another half a minute and then I'll go through the question. Yep, nice, Samuel. Getting that. Cool, it's a few answers coming through. Okay, I'll go through this question now. All right, guys. So question 1C, what we've got is an emergency flare is fired from a boat. And, if you want to do something, it's like you could draw like a quick little sketch. There's your emergency flare, kind of like going up like that and coming around, whatever, right? So the formula is given, which is H is equal to 90T minus 5T squared plus 2. Now it's asking, what's the maximum height reached by the flare? So what's happening is, just need to remember that when it reaches the maximum height, the gradient is actually equal to 0. That's something that you guys have to actually kind of do. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to differentiate height. So when we differentiate height, we're going to get h dash, which is 9t minus 10t. And remember that we can actually say max is when h dash is equal to 0 or the gradient is equal to 0. All right, so then we can actually put down 0 is equal to 90 minus 10t, rearrange it. So when we rearrange this, we're going to get 10t is equal to 90, and then t is equal to 90 divided by 10, which actually gives you 9 seconds. Now, what's happened is this is the time that's been actually given as 9 seconds, right? So because it's 9 seconds, we've got to actually figure out what's the maximum height. So we're going to go back to the height equation, and we've got 90t minus 5t squared plus 2. We've got to actually substitute t as 9. So we're going to get minus 5 times 9 squared plus 2. And then we're actually going to work out what it is in the calculator. So what do we got? We got 90 times 9 minus 5 times 81, because 9 squared is 81, plus 2. There you go. That gives me 407. Now, they don't actually mention anything about units in the marking schedule, but what can you do? So time for maximum and the height find is going to get you a merit. So for merit, you're going to need the 407 and the 9. As for the achieved, all you got to do is just get up to this part here, where you actually differentiate the equation and put it equal to 0. A good question on the chat there. Do we have to justify too? Not in this question. Generally at level 2, unless they specifically ask you to show that it's a maximum, it's assumed that when you put a gradient, put it equal to 0, you're either going to get a max or min for that. So you don't have to justify it in this case. You can have a look at the I'll chuck the schedule up there, Sky. So if you do want to have a look at the schedule and just kind of go ahead, by all means, go for it, mate. All right, so you guys got most of it with 407. No, what is this? Blah, blah, blah. No, we don't need to justify. Yeah, so I mean, and plus it's a negative parabola, Samuel. So because it's a negative parabola, you're going to actually have just a maximum point. And if you have a normal parabola, it's actually going to be a minimum point. So it's like, that's a quick statement that you can write. But however, in this particular majority of the level 2 calculus questions, unless it's an excellence question, they'll actually say prove that this is a maximum or a minimum or something like that. That's when you have to actually go do that extra step. All right. Let me know how we went with this question. Any other kind of like niggling queries for this question before we move on? No, we don't need units, Ronan. Yeah, like I'm looking. I'll show you guys the answer schedule. Where are we at? Not that one. Hang on, let me just fix this. There we go. Here we go. So if you guys have a look, it actually says units not required. So you don't need units at all, so that's fine. All right, next question. Just kind of tinkering with this. Cool. I guess we'll go to question D because there's nothing really coming through from the chat. So yeah, I'm going to leave this question up here. And as usual, I'm going to give you guys about 2.5 minutes for this question to have a go. And you might be wondering why I'm only giving you guys 2.5 minutes for this. The way I kind of break down these questions is that, you want to be spending, like they usually have 5 to 6 questions. And in 5 to 6 questions, you want to spend about at least 6 to 7 minutes on the excellence questions. And, with the achieved questions, you don't want to be spending more than 1 or 2 minutes. Like if you're spending more than 2 minutes on an achieved question, then I would almost say you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Because think about it like this, right? Like you could actually spend doing 2 achieved questions and it takes you like 5 minutes and you get a maximum grade of like 3 points. But if you do like 1 merit question in that same 5 minutes, you actually end up getting 5 points. So it's just learning how to strategize when you actually look at the exam paper. Like one thing I would say to you guys is never, when you get an exam paper, how many of you just start doing the exam paper straight away with question 1A? You see question 1A, you don't even read anything else, you just jump straight into it. If you're doing that, I would strongly recommend you not to do that. The best strategy is to actually read the entire paper. And then you've got to actually plan, guys. In the exam, I know you're thinking, I've only got 1 hour left. I mean, like you'd have 3 hours if you're doing level 2. So you've got to and if you're doing 3 papers, you've got to strategize. You've got to go, which question am I confident in getting that merit? So if I'm confident in getting a merit question, then I really shouldn't be spending too much time on those previous achieved questions, because that means you can spend a bit more time on maximizing your grade. So, because think about it, right? Like, I mean, like level 2, all you got to do is you got to answer 3 merit questions, and you're gonna, in each separate question 1, 2, 3, you're gonna get 15 points. You're gonna get a merit. You're sweet. In fact, getting achieved is like, a little bit more trickier because you actually end up having to answer like 4 or sometimes up to 5 questions. Oh, you had a crack at the question 1E. Oh, good on you, mate. No worries. Yeah. Anyway, I've kind of been yapping on a bit. Should we go through the answers for question B yet, or give you guys another minute? Here we go. We're starting to get some answers there. Nice. Yeah, once again, as I said to you guys, like this is a different calculus differentiation paper. So if you don't know what you're doing, just differentiate and then see what happens. All right, let's go through this question D, because this was something that I covered before with rate of change as well. So that's why I want to do this one. So with question 1D, what we've got here is girth of a tree and T is time. And the girth of the tree is like, what do we got? G, just going to write that down. J equals negative 0.05 T squared plus 0.15 T plus 0.3. Now, this part is quite useful to know when they actually say rate of growth, all right? The rate of growth, and if they don't give any, sometimes they say with respect to something else, but when they don't say anything else, what they are actually saying is when is dg with respect to time going to equal 0.4. So all we really have to do in this case is differentiate g, put it equal to 0.04 and solve it. That's all. Because when I differentiate g, remember I could write it as g dash, or I could actually write it as dg over dt, because that's the rate of change over time that the growth is actually changing. So here I've got negative 0.005 times 2, which equals to negative 0.01 t plus, what do you got, 0.15? So that's what I've got here as my derivative function. And if you guys get up to this point here, you're not going to get enough of your grades, because what you have to do is you've got to actually put it to 0.04. And when you put it to 0.04, this is where you end up getting your first achieved grade. So what they've also done here is that it's not just kind of like differentiating, but you got to differentiate and equal to something as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve this. So we're going to rearrange this. What do we got? 0.04, and we've got take away 0.15 equals negative 0.01t. So we've got negative 0.11 equals negative 0.01t. And what we're going to end up with is t is equal to negative 0.11 divided by negative 0.01, which actually is going to give us 11 years. As for the units, again, you don't actually need units, so you could have just left your answer as t equals to 11. And if you did that, you're actually going to end up getting a merit for that. Yeah, so just get into the habit of just like kind of seeing, sometimes the questions will ask max. So if they ask you max or minimum, put it equal to 0. And sometimes it's like a question like this where you have to put it equal to some number and kind of solve it. Cool, moving on. How'd you guys go with that? Any challenges for you guys? Any? Yep, Noah, I think I know you've asked me that twice, so we might as well go and have a crack at question 3E, guys, because oh yes, definitely we'll do 3E actually. We're going to do 3E next, guys, because it's what do you call that question? 3E is a optimization question, and trust me, it is not as difficult as some people think it is. It's all about trying to put the right equation, and then you're like good to go. Yeah, just another favor, guys, if you can keep the chat just with what we're trying to do, it just makes it a bit easier for me to actually answer people's questions. Would really appreciate it. Cool. So we go to question 3E. See if it actually loads up. B, C, D. I think that's going to be E. No, that's D. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this question up for you guys for a while. Um, and again, it's like have a read through it, see how far you can actually go with this question. And then I will actually talk you guys through this question, all right? Bit of a heads up for this. It's like, yes, you've got to rewrite some of the parts, but just have a go. Have a go and see what you can actually come up with. Me and the ducks, are you talking about level 3 calculus? It depends. Me and the ducks, like, I mean, if you want to, if you're doing anything with engineering, depends on your career pathway, man. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, Zaki. So yeah, it is a maximization question, and I don't think you need to. Let me just check something else for this question. Yeah, you don't actually need to do any proofs. It's just writing the equation and kind of differentiating it and rearranging it. That's all. So that's a really, really good question, Caspian. What you could do though is, um, how can you do this with, okay, so Caspian, what I'm going to say to you is this. take some numbers, all right? Just take some numbers and just kind of play around with the numbers just to see what you would actually get. So instead of, you know how it says width as X, um, I would say kind of go, put this as, I don't know, 3, for example. And then if that's 3, then this is going to become 6. And then how would you actually end up finding the height? Especially when the length, see the 12 frames add up to actually L. So kind of start with something like that. And I'm going to kind of do this with numbers, so just so you get an idea, right? So count out how many sides are 3. So we can say that because we said the width is 3, this is 3, 3, 3, and 3. All right, so those are 4 yellow sides that are actually equal to 3. Then you have a look at what are all the sides that are 6. So you've got a 6 there, 6 there, 6 there, and a 6 there. So you've got, again, 4 sides that are going to be 6. And also remember, guys, in this question, there's actually no, you're just proving it. So you're not asked to find, you're not asked to solve, you're not asked to do any of that. So with that in case, and then we've got the height, right? So the height is actually there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you think about it, what you've got is 4 height plus 4 width plus 4 length is equal to big L. So hopefully that kind of made sense what I've just done there. And I think that's your starting point for this question. I'll explain again in a few minutes. But yeah, I'm going to leave that with you guys there. So you can actually replace this as 4h plus 4x plus 4 times 2x equals to L. Now, if you did it with numbers, it'll be like 4 times 3 plus 4 times 6 equals to L. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a hint of how to actually do this. And then remember, you're trying to find the maximum volume. So volume is equal to width times length times height. Yeah, so those are all the kind of like the hints I'm going to give you guys. And I am going to give you guys another 3 or 4 minutes. But remember, your final answer has to equal L over 9. And don't worry about it if you're not following me, but just have a go. And in a few minutes, I'll rub this all out and I'll record from scratch. So I'll actually go through the whole question from the beginning. And what I might do is after this question, I'll give you guys another question similar like this, but with numbers so that you can actually kind of learn how to do these things. Short banana. I have to say, it was a very interesting day in my home today. But that's another story for another day. I've got to do this question. Yes, Arthi, you will be able to watch it because it should be up within a couple of minutes after I stop the stream. It should be up and ready to go. So if you click on the link from the revision channel, then you should be pretty much good to go. L over 3x. I wonder how you got that, man. How did you get that L over 3x? See, this is the part that sucks, right? Because you guys are all doing the working, and I wish I could see the working so I can actually guide you where you make those little mistakes. Um, Unfortunately, I can't do that. It's all right. Let me know, guys. Do you guys want me to start going through it, or do you guys need a bit more time for this question? Because I'm going to try and see if I can try and explain it slightly different the next time. So, okay, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, okay, get it, get it, get it. I get it. Jeez. It's like the chat just starts going on fire. Okay, what I might do is I'm going to give you guys maybe a different question first. Might help you understand. How do we do this one? Which one do you want to do, Bashi? So we can do. Okay, let's look at the same question, right? But this time I'm going to give you guys something else. So imagine it like this. So we're going to have a box, the same exact box. We're going to have this as height. We're going to have this as x, and we're going to have this as 2x. All right. Now, what I would like you guys to kind of imagine is, let's say we got some tape, right? Like, imagine this is like a Christmas box, and we've got a bunch of tape, and we need to actually tape all the sides. So basically, what I'm talking about is, I'm just going to hang on. Let me just do a duplicate of this. Copy. Paste. So what I'm talking about is, let's say that we're going to get a piece of tape, and we want to actually make sure we cover all the edges. So I'm talking about this edge, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we've got 9, 10, 11, and 12 at the back there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to actually cover this box with those 12 edges, that we have. We're going to cover this with tape of maybe, I don't know, let's go, what should we go, 4 meters. All right, let's just say we've got tape of 4 meters, and we're going to actually wrap around, this box, right? Now I want to know what's the biggest volume that I can actually put inside so that I actually use 4 meters of tape. Yeah. Just having a quick. So Sam, all we're trying to do, mate, is like we're trying to figure out what is the biggest size it could be that this box could be, so that we can actually use 4 meters of tape to cover the edges. All right. So just bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna kind of like break off into an break off into another example. Now, if I had 4 meters, I've actually got 12 sides here. So think about it like this. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I've actually got 12 edges or sides. Now, if I was to break this down, I have actually got 4 x's plus 4 2x's plus 4 heights. And all of this is now equal to 4 meters. Yeah, pretty much. You guys got that, right? That's the first part. So I hope everybody is everybody okay with this part? Because this is the challenging part. If you can get this part, the rest of the question is going to become super, super easy. All right. So I'm assuming you guys got this part. Cool. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of like simplify it a little bit. So, sorry, expand it. We've got 4x plus 8x plus 4h is equal to 4. So then we've got 12x plus 4h is equal to 4. So far, so good, I'm hoping. Now, I'm going to stop this for a while. And remember, the question actually asked, what is the maximum volume? All right. So, yep, you're right, me and the ducks. But before I go there, before I'm going to stop here, I know the volume of a cuboid is base times, I don't know, base times width times height, whichever way you want to see it, right? When you have a cuboid, you're going to multiply the three sides. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, if we look at this one here, I've got my base. I'm going to go that with x. My width, I'm going to go with 2x. And then my height, I'm going to go with height. So what happens is I'm going to get volume is equal to x multiplied by 2x multiplied by h. No, Kurt, I'm just trying to do like an example just so that we can actually go back to that question. Because if you guys don't understand with the numbers, then it's quite hard to do it with the letters. So that's why I'm trying to show you guys how to do this with like a numbered question, and then we can go back and try that question. So is everybody okay so far? Like with the volume equation. So volume equation right now is the base, which is x, times the width, which is the blue, and then the height, which is h. Now here's the thing. Remember, we're in calculus. In calculus, if you want to find something that is maximum, you have to differentiate and put it equal to 0. The problem is we cannot differentiate this volume function because we've got x, and suddenly we've actually got an h. We've got to get rid of the h and make sure it's all in x. All right, before you differentiate, and this is the most important thing about this question, and this is the whole point of this question, is that you have to have only one variable. You can't have two variables. So you can't actually have x and h and then differentiate. So we have to figure out a way to get rid of the h. And the way we're going to get rid of the h is by going back here in this equation. Because what we can do is here, we can actually rearrange this as 4h is equal to 4 take away 12x. And then we can say that h is equal to 4 take away 12x divided by 4, which means we are actually going to get h is equal to 1 minus 3x. I'm just checking if my working is right. Yep. So once we've got h as 1 minus 3x, because we now can say that h is equal to 1 minus 3x, we can actually get rid of this h and rewrite volume function as volume equals x times 2x multiplied by 1 minus 3x. And guess what? Suddenly, we got this volume equation and everything is in x, which is beautiful. That's exactly what we want, which means we can expand, differentiate, put it equal to 0, and you're done. You're going to find out what the x value is. So volume is equal to, we've got 2x squared times 1 minus 3x. Then volume is equal to, expand the brackets, 2x squared minus 6x cubed. Now we're going to differentiate it. We will get 4x minus 18x squared. We're going to put that equal to 0, which means we're going to get, what have we got? 4 and x, so maybe 2x, 2 minus 9x. Not simultaneous equation, Sam, but what you're trying to do is something similar to it. You're actually trying to get rid of the h so that you can actually get a volume function with all just x's in it. So once we get up here, we can just say 2x is equal to 0, or 2 minus 9x equals to 0. Here we're going to get x is equal to 0. In this case, we're going to get negative 9x is equal to negative 2, and then x is equal to negative 2 over negative 9. So x is equal to 2 over 9. For crying out loud, I hope I did that right, but we'll find out. I'll show you guys how you can also check um, whether you can do that. Why did you divide to get rid of h? I'm going to chuck some line numbers so that you guys can actually call out some lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Narud, can you tell me which number line that you had the problem with? Why did you divide to get rid of h? So what we've got here is, guys, is that we've actually got x is equal to 2 over 9. So that's when the maximum volume actually happens. So if we go back and substitute it in the original equation, we're going to get volume is equal to x times 2x times 1 minus 3x. So we're going to get 2 over 9 times 2 over 9 multiplied by 1 minus 3 times 2 over 9. When we solve that, we're actually going to get, we will actually end up getting the maximum volume, which I feel like I've made a mistake somewhere, but I don't know why I feel it. Oh, 4 meters is not actually that long. It is going to be a small box. Harry, I chose that because that was the question. I chose a random question, not the random question. I chose the same question, but instead of working with L, I chose to work with 4 meters just to show you as an example. I want to show you guys one other thing, and I'm going to show this on the graphics calculator so that it's a good way to check. So in the graphics calculator, if you go into graph mode, I'm actually going to put in the volume equation. So notice how the volume equation is x multiplied by 2x multiplied by 1 minus 3x. Yeah, this is definitely an excellence question, me and the ducks. So when I actually put this in the graphics calculator and I click on draw, I'm going to get this right. I can actually click on gsolve and I can look for local max. And if you guys see, it actually says the local max happens when x equals to 0.2222209. Now, if you do 2 over 9, you're actually going to end up with this particular value there. So if I go menu, 1, yeah, there you go, 0.2222. Anyway, that's how you guys figure out the volume for this. Now I'm going to actually kind of like pause here because I know that there's a lot happening in this question and I am happy to answer every one of your guys' questions. But if you guys are working on the other question, all you have to do is get rid of the 4 meters, replace it with L, and see if you can kind of follow the same steps to try and get that answer of, I think they had L over 9 or something like that. No, Amelia, I think once you do like a few of these questions, you'll actually find this is one of the most comfortable excellence questions because it just works out real nice once you understand how to get that equation. That starting equation is the hardest the part, but once you get that, you're pretty much good to go. Sky, let me just have a look at that for you. I think when we drew it and did gsolve, you should have got a maximum volume of 0.032. So check your calculations. Something doesn't feel right with your calculation. Okay, did you guys want me to go through the other question now with the L? Yeah, pretty much, Harry Hooker. That's what you're trying to do. Yeah, so in the original question, which I'm going to go through now, let's have a look. Hang on, give me 1 second. So let's actually try this question now. Is my mic still working? Yep, it is still working. Yeah, comfortable excellence is like 21, but it depends on the in the paper, right? Sometimes you get like 19, sometimes you get 20. All right, so let's try this question with the L, right? So here's the thing with this question. With this question, these guys have actually given you guys the answer. They've actually telling, show that the length of the crate will be L over 9 when the volume is maximum. So all you're really doing for this question is exactly what we did, but somehow you just need to figure out how to get that final answer as L over 9. So the first thing is this. Remember how I said in the previous question, I said that those 12 sides is equal to 4 meters? Well, in this case, it's L centimeters, right? I'm not going to record this because I want to try and do this later on. Um, so we've got, first off, I'm going to do the width. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4x is actually the width. All right, that's all the width right there. Then I've got to add, what my number is at? 2, 3. Yeah. So then I'm going to add all the length, which is 2x. So that's 2x, that's 2x, 2x, and 2x. So I've got 4 lots of 2x, which is the green part there. Then I've got to add the light blue part, which happens to be the height. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we've got 4 lots of height. That's the blue part. Now all of this is equal to L. All right, this is the first part. Let me know if you guys are okay with what I've done so far. Because we've got 12 steel rods, and those 12 steel rods are actually all connecting to make that cuboid, which we're going to end up with, that's equal to the length of L. Awesome, that's great. Now we're going to actually work out on the other side, we're going to work out what the volume is. Now the volume for this case is still the same. We've got width times length times height. So we're going to get x multiplied by 2x multiplied by h. Are we okay with that? Cool. Now guess what? We've got the same problem as what we had before. When we look at the volume equation, we've actually got an h there that we need to get rid of. Because if you think about it, we can't differentiate this without actually getting rid of the h. And the only way we can get rid of that h is coming back to this equation here, rearranging so that h is there by itself. So we're going to expand this. We're going to get 4x plus 8x plus 4h equals to L. We're going to rearrange, before we rearrange, we got 12x plus 4h is equal to L. And then 4h is equal to L, take away 12x. And we're going to write h is equal to L minus 12x over 4. So I'm going to stop there for a second and just check in with you guys just to see, are you guys happy with that so far? Yeah, this is where you got to be careful with the rearranging, right? Because if you can get this rearranging part here, then you're like I'm almost going to say that you're pretty much very close to going home. When I say going home, I meant like solving the question. So what we've got here is H is equal to this part. So we can now go back to our volume equation, and we can say that since H is equal to L minus 12x, I'm just writing this here. You guys don't need to write it. You can kind of do that straight away. But I'm just going to go volume is equal to X times 2x multiplied by L minus 12x over 4. And I'm going to put that in a bracket like that. Can you write H is L over 4 minus 3x? Yes, you can do that. Absolutely fine, Banana Swell. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, Naru, tell me which part you got confused with. Or if you're okay, just let me know if you're okay. Yes, Cotton Slayer. Now you can differentiate and put it equal to 0, and you should be done with that. So if you guys understand up to this part, then the next step is all you got to do is differentiate, put it equal to 0, and prove that it's L over 9. That's all you got to do. And I saw someone before, Sky, I'm looking at you. I just saw your answer. Damn, I got L over 18. Sky, I'm going to ask you to go back and have a look at the actual question. Because trust me, there's a trick in the question. Read the question again, and trust me, you're on the right path, man. Or yeah, you're on the right path, Sky. L over 18, if you get L over 18, you're definitely on the right path. Can you write H is equal to 0.25 L minus 3x? Yes, you can do that, Amelia. That's absolutely fine. Yep, Noah, you could do it either way, like because brackets, how you could do it is like I could put it as L minus 12x over 4, or yeah, it really doesn't matter. The only reason I put the bracket on the top is because I want to be able to expand it. What I might do is I might actually write Amelia's version here, just because, so I've got x times 2x, which is 2x squared, multiplied by, Amelia, this is what you wrote, which is absolutely fine, which was 0.25 L minus 3x. There's nothing wrong with doing that as well. I'm just waiting for Sky to respond. Sky, I hope you figured out what your problem was with that question. Can you show me how the x cancels out at the end? Read the question, Sky. Come on, man. Go back, or sorry, I don't know whether you're a man or a girl, but like, let's go have a look at that question again. All right. Trust me, you're so close to cracking it. But read that last line again, Sky. Read that last line. Where did you get 0.25 from? Cool. I'll actually break it down here. So here, H is equal to L over 4 minus 12x over 4. So then remember 1 over 4 is the same thing as saying 0.25 L minus 12 divided by 4 is 3x. .5 L is equal to, yes, you're onto something there as well. So anyway, guys, I have done most of the heavy lifting here. I think this last part, you guys got to finish it off. Come on, you can do this. All you got to do is differentiate and then put it equal to 0 and solve the question. There we go, Sky, you got it. No, I think you found x. You found x, but it's asking for the length. Sky, if you look at the question, it says show the length. But what you found was actually the width, which was x. All right, I'm going to do one more step here. I'm expanding this bracket even before differentiating. I've got 0.25 times 2, which equals to 0.5 x squared L minus 3 times 2 is 6. This is what I should have got my volume function as 0.5 x squared L minus 6x cubed. Yep, Brady, definitely onto it. Remember, it equals to 0. Okay, so I'm going to keep going at this. I've not even differentiated it yet. So now I'm going to differentiate this to get v dash is equal to 0.5 times 2 is 1. So I've got xl minus 18x squared. Because xl minus 18x squared, now I can say that the maximum volume is equal to 0. It doesn't matter, Amelia, where you put it. You could put it as lx squared, x squared l. It's all the same thing. It's kind of like this. You know how if you have x, y, z, it's the same thing as saying yx, z, or zyx. Because it's multiplication, it doesn't really matter. You got 9x over L. Okay, let's see where you guys got from. So here, next step is I'm going to put this equal to 0. So I've got xl minus 18x squared is equal to 0. I've got x as a common factor. I'm going to take out x as a common factor, which means I'm going to get L minus 18x equals to 0. So once I do that, I've got either one of those brackets is equal to 0. So I've got x is equal to 0, or L minus 18x is equal to 0. And what I can see here is x equals 0, just completely ignore it. I'm going to get L is equal to, well, actually, no, I'm trying to figure out what x is, right? So then I'm going to get negative 18x is equal to minus L, and then x is equal to minus L divided by negative 18, which means you should have got one of your x's as L over 18. Let me know if you guys are all right with that so far. Now, if you got L over 18 and you're sitting there going, I've done something wrong, you haven't done anything wrong there. If you got L over 18, you've done nothing wrong. But I want you to go back and read the question again. I'm going to see if I can try and kind of boost the size of the question. Hang on. Copy. Come on. Come on. There we go. So there's all that working, but I'll put that question down there for you guys to have a look. See if you can figure it out while I answer some people's questions. Is it a positive 18? Stupid thing just goes away. Peter, I'm not sure how you got, I hope you figured out where your mistake was with the 9x over L. Got it. Is it a positive 18, not negative? Where did the x equals to 0 come from? So remember, when you have a quadratic, you're going to have two brackets that are multiplied. So basically, I've got either the yellow bracket is equal to 0 or the green bracket is equal to 0. So that's like your quadratic equation there. Cool. So that's that. Oh, sorry, I didn't see the negative L. That's all fine. It's positive. Yep, got it, got it. L equals to 2x. Yep, Jamie, you're onto it. That's the one. X equals L over 18, right? Yeah, so I think you guys are getting it. Like, look, the question actually says, and this is the annoying part of this question. You might be coming up to L over 18 and you go, God damn, this question actually says, if you guys have a look, it says, show that the length will be L over 9. But here's the problem. The problem is, this is the problem. Your width is X. So what you've actually calculated here is actually the width. But if you look at the question, it actually says, show that the length of the crate is L over 9. Because it's length, what we have to do is we have to say width is equal to L over 18, length is equal to 2 times X, which means we got to go 2 times L over 18, which gives us L over 9. So yes, it's an annoying question, but like, it's a proof question, and they will ask you like little things like this where you got to go back to the question. Go back to the question and just keep reading it again and again just to see what part you're missing and which part you're not missing. Me and the ducks, that's one of my favorite questions of the day. How old are you? As in, are you in uni or school or what? Can I please put that on Instagram? Because that's one of the biggest compliments I've got in terms of my age. Dude, I teach, man. I teach at Emerson Junior College. I've been teaching for like, God's 14, 15 years now. Yeah, I'll chuck it on later. Yeah, I think like it is a bit of Samuel, I agree with you. It is like one of those questions where they try and have the length of the see, I would have actually preferred instead of doing length, they should have actually put it as like maybe base and width so that people don't actually get confused. Yeah. No, I don't do chemistry, man. What happened with 1F? So any other questions with this one, guys? I just used that 4 meter one before as an example, just to show you guys. Well, 2 over 18 is 1 over 9, but so 2 over 18 is the same thing as saying 1 over 9. Peter, but then, yes, we spent half an hour on it, but like we kind of had to go through the concept, right? Like two different types, like how we substitute and how we actually opt integrate. So here's the thing for you guys. I know I'm kind of coming over to 9 o'clock, and I gotta kind of get some shut eye for my class tomorrow. But long story short, optimization is like a bread and butter question. All right. What do I mean by bread and butter question? It's like they'll give you like something that's dependent on another thing, and then when you come, I think the best way to find out is, they'll ask like, oh, what's the maximum area or what's the maximum volume? Then all you got to do is like write that equation down. So like how I did here. See this part right here? So notice how I did the width, length, and height. So let me just show you guys. No, that's not going to pop up. That's annoying. But like basically doing this part first, because when you do this part, and then when you go to the next step there, let me just use a different color. What do we got? When you guys go to this step, you can kind of see that actually I can't actually differentiate this because of that H. So that this is the clue that you've got to figure out a way to get rid of the H. And so that's why you got to go back to that other equation that I talked about, figure out a way to get rid of that H, and then you should be good to go after that point. What type of question is it, Harry? Like, because I'm mindful of time. 1F. Three. What's the time? 9:04. Fine, fine, fine. Let's do one more question. This last one, all right? Because it is an excellence question. Um, I will. Yeah, it's not too bad, this question. So I will actually give you guys some time to do it, but I do need to shoot off at about 9:15 because I've got another thing that I need to get to before going to get some shut eye. Um, you could do that, Zara, but the thing is, like, the question's actually asking you in the previous question, it's actually saying to you show that the length is L over 9. So even though you're proving that L over 18 is maximum, that's still not showing that the length is L over 9 that provides maximum. What you're trying to show is like when you find like volume double dash, you're going to prove that, yes, when the width is L over 18, the volume is maximum. So it doesn't actually match up with that question. And so even though you prove it, you still are not going to actually end up getting that question because you didn't actually put that L over 9. Yeah, this is a similar what do you call it? A simultaneous equation question, guys. So that's why I thought I'll just do it real quickly before shooting off. And I am going to kind of show you guys the shortcut for it because I'm completely just running a little bit on time. No, Zara, it depends. It depends, Zara, on like what do I call it? In some questions, they'll actually say, "Oh, can you please show that it's a maximum?" Or like, "Can you show that it's a minimum?" Or prove that this is a minimum or a maximum. So that's when you got to kind of go, right. So this is when I use double differentiation to kind of prove it. But yeah, like I said, Sky, with the optimization, start with the actual volume or area equation. Once you do that, you kind of can start seeing where that missing thing is that you need to kind of like readjust. And once you readjust, it's like you're good to go after that. But Dad, what are you doing here, man? Like, probably not even up to. Fred boy, no, it's not. I refuse to do it. Although YouTube did make me, they kind of forced all the content creators to monetize their videos. Otherwise, what ended up happening was that they were going to put ads on it. So I joined the program, but then there's only like 2 videos that have ads on them, and those ads are actually on the side, so they're not even like the main kind of ads. Um, Interestingly enough, like yeah, I think it's it's just a code of mine that I kind of stuck to. I said like if you guys want to learn, I don't want you guys to watch ads to learn my stuff. You can just learn it whenever you want it without having to watch like a Grammarly ad or a whatever ad that pops up every time for you guys. Right, guys, I'm gonna go through this question because just getting close to closing time here, but hope you guys have had a good kind of attempt at it. But I will show you guys, as I said, a couple of shortcuts to kind of go through it as well. Yeah, so we're getting a few good answers there. All right, so what do we got? We've got a gradient function, and we're looking for f of x, right? So we got f dash of x is mx plus 2. We're going to anti-differentiate or integrate, which means we're going to get mx squared over 2 plus 2x plus c. All right. So it's funny that this is actually an annoying question. I'm surprised that it's actually an excellence question because you can do this in like a couple of shots, really. But I'm going to show you guys. All right. So here's the thing. We've got 2 points. The first is 210, and the second is -1, -8. So all we're going to do here is we're going to substitute x and y. So we're going to get 10 is equal to m times 2 squared over 2 plus 2 times 2 plus c. And then on the other side, we've got -8 is equal to m times -1 squared over 2 plus 2 times -1 plus c. All right, yeah, definitely simultaneous equations. Yeah, as Sky is saying, this is like a freebie excellence question because all you got to do is just write this as simultaneous equation, chuck it on the graphics calculator, and you're pretty much good to go. So before doing that, I'm just going to kind of simplify things for myself. 2 squared is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I've got 2m plus 4 plus c. And on this side, I've got -8 is equal to -1 squared is +1. +1 over 2 is 0.5. So 0.5 m minus 2 plus c. And I'm going to rearrange this. So I've got 10 minus 4 is equal to 2m plus c. I mean, this question is like, you don't even need to use the graphics calculator, but you can because it just makes it so much more faster. We've got -8 plus 2 is equal to 0.5 m plus c. Now, chuck this straight in the calculator. Oh, wait, hang on. Let's just put this -6. We're going to go into the graphics calculator here and go into equation, simultaneous, number of unknowns is 2. So what have we got? We've got, the only thing is, guys, just remember that you've got to rewrite these equations. So you probably want to write it like this. 2m plus c is equal to 6. 0.5 m plus c is equal to -6. And also remember, there's a coefficient of 1 for both of those c's. So here we go. We've got 2, 1, and 6, 0.5, 1, and -6. When we do that, we're going to end up with two letters there. And remember, the first one was m. So we can actually say that m is equal to 8, c is equal to -10, which means our function is m is 8, so 8x squared over 2 plus 2x minus 10. You could leave it like that, or if you want, simplify it as 4x squared plus 2x minus 10. So grades wise for this question, as I said, equation of curve found is actually going to get you an excellence grade for this. Value of M or C found is merit, which is kind of pointless because if you get a graphics calculator, you're either going to get both of those answers. If you do this manually, you could get one answer. So that's where, so M, a grade M is like this or this. For achieved, equation found in terms of N and equated to 10. So this right here is going to be achieved. Yes. Yeah, so I don't know, Elite, I don't know where you got that 13 from, so might have made a slight error somewhere in your calculations. Check it out. Oh yeah, but they've kind of changed it a little bit around this time around, Amelia. So just keep in mind that these types of questions do pop up, but like, it's just understanding that sometimes things that you guys do in level 1 algebra, which you sometimes take for granted, is yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind, like it does come in handy. Ranger, there's a couple of teachers that I know that do probability. There's who's it? We've got Liz Sneddon, Catherine Albertson, and then we've got Mrs. O'Graham. So they do a bit of stats. Nutshell Mats, he does some stats as well, probability. But I kind of stayed away from stats because just yeah. Gradient function. Oh yeah, oh, man, that's gotta suck. Yeah, sorry, Banana, that you got to go through that. But yeah, guys, who was it? Any more level 2 tutorials before our exam? What were we saying? So we said you guys have your exam next week, Wednesday. So we've got a couple of big days coming up on the Monday, Tuesday. So Monday, there was a request for calculus graphs, so we might actually do 30 minutes of this. If you guys are struggling with the calculus graph, so this is like drawing the graph given the gradient function, or sometimes they give you the graph and they ask you to do a gradient function. I'm gonna, yeah, it's pretty much a little activity that we end up doing on Desmos. So if you guys, yeah, if you want to find out that, just come on that day, and then we'll go through the Desmos activity, and then we'll try and teach you guys how to do the graph. Because trust me, when it's basically going to be everybody drawing graphs on one program. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. 20-second, yep. You can, Samuel, it just saves time. If you use a graphics calculator, it saves a hell of a lot of time. But you can also do it by manual as well. No worries, Griffin, you're welcome. Yeah, so Brady, when they give us 2 points, what they're actually telling us is that the curve is actually going through 2 points. So you just substitute it and then find, you could do it the long method simultaneous equations, but it's pretty much, yeah, same idea behind it. So you're trying to find two points to find out two variables. Yes, I do. I won my league. I came in the top 1,000 this season, which I was pretty happy about in the whole comp. Had some very stink injuries and some silly trades, but somehow I managed to sneak into the top 1,000 of the competition. No worries, Hayden. I'll see you guys on, I think, next one. Me and the Ducks, 21st, level 1 Geo. 21st is level 1 Geo, mate. That's when we're doing that, me and the Ducks. Oh, how do you put in the calculator to solve? Let me grab you a video for that because let's just see. Give me a second. So I have a playlist called Graphics Calculator Playlist, and I'm going to put that up there so you can go and have a look at all the little calculator tips there for you, Samuel. Same with you, Zara. Have a look at that playlist. I think it's video number solving simultaneous equations. It's like the last video on that playlist. Yes, do you have a fantasy team as well for the NRL? Yeah, no worries, guys. Have a good night. Oh, the NBA. Man, I used to do NBA for long times, but like I yeah, I do. Akemji was a huge what do you call it, Arsenal fan, but then after Wenger left, I kind of like lost interest in the game. Nah, not Premier League. No worries, Joshua. Have a good one, man. Catch you up. Where is the chat? No, I kind of do NRL because it's like my workmates. We used to play, like we used to give trash talk each other on Monday because we're playing head-to-head leagues. But good fun. See you, me and the Ducks. All good, man. Have a good one. Ah, I forgot to tell my story. Ah, too late. Too late. See you later, Kamji. Yes. Yes, Drax. Make sure you get a couple of 4 AAA batteries with you in the plastic bag when you go into the exam. What's the story? Yeah, it was my kid's first day at school today, man, and he went to primary school, and it was like the first time. Yeah, I was nervous as, but the guy was like just so happy this morning. He went to school, and there I was like waiting at the gate, going, "Yeah, he's gonna be like, Daddy, I miss you, don't go," and stuff like that. But nah, he was like, "Yeah, bye, Dad, see you later." Off he went, made a new mate on the way to his classroom, and I was like, well, that was a bit anticlimactic. I was hoping like, he was gonna have one of these moments as a father-son thing, but yeah, nah, no, didn't happen. So yeah, it's just funny stages of life. Anyway, guys, I can't believe I'm just kind of like yapping away here. But I should, although if you keep an eye on Instagram tomorrow, there's a crack up of a video that I'm gonna post, which like I'm for my students, which is just, yeah, which I don't know if it's a bit too mean or if it's just funny, but I will chuck it up there. Would it be good to kind of look at questions by this checklist? It depends, Brady. Like, look, if you want to have a look at particular type of questions, yeah, it's hard, man. It's like they keep changing things around. Like it's not like, before we used to kind of be able to predict what type of questions they used to come because they had like a similar kind of patterned questions. But now it's like just getting a little bit more challenging to kind of to do that. So yeah, I wish I had an answer for that, Brady, but unfortunately I don't. Anyway, guys, as I said, 9:15, I was supposed to go. I didn't realize it was 9:20. Take care. I will see you guys for our last two tutorials next week. Till then, have a good one, guys. Good night. Good night.